Cold open. Hey everyone, welcome to episode
Hey,
14 of Monorail Memoirs. This week we're talking about the most overrated Disney attractions in Walt Disney World. We haven't corroborated beforehand. All I know is that Lauren's are all quite geographically located. We'll come on to that afterwards. We have ranked them, so we have our third, second, and then our most overrated attraction. With that said, though, Lauren, how are you?
I'm fantastic because I've got one of my favourite t-shirts on.
Big Thunder Mountain. Is that's on my list? I'm kidding. It's not. I'm kidding. It's not.
I was gonna
I
say.
just I just wanted to see what happened. Just see what happened. But agreed. I do think that Big Thunder Mountain is a pretty good ride. So let's give that. Let's get straight into it. So what are we talking about when we talk about overrated? We talk about rides that other people enjoy. What we made sure to do is not just talk about rubbish rides, which is why neither of us included Navi River Journey. It's not overrated. It's just rubbish. So we want ones that people actually enjoy and like, but that we think happen to be a little bit overspun. So with that in mind, Lauren, I'm going to let you start then. So out of your three, what comes third as most overrated attraction?
So I am picking Peter Pan's Flight
Interesting. Why?
because obviously we know it's always got a really long way, and that attracts a certain crowd. Also, I think if people have never done it before, they might think, "Oh, that's got a real long way. It must be a really good ride." I think some people do think that way, but it is one of the classics. A lot of diehard fans absolutely love it. But for me, it's just a waste of over an hour and a half of your life by the time you've decided to queued up, done the ride, and come off the ride and thought, what on earth have I just done for the past hour and a half?
Yeah, but I mean, most of Peter Pan's flights crowd size is not due to the crowd size, it's due to how slow it is
The
at
loading.
processing people, like the loading function, and that its capacity per hour is so small compared to more modern rides, or good rides like the Carousel of Progress, that it really struggles to get. What are you laughing at? It really struggles to be able to get people through. You know what? I agree with Peter Pan's flight. It's not on my list, but is it overrated? Yes, I will do entire trips to Disney, not do it, and not feel like I've missed out. And it's always such a contrast with the queue across the road to It's a Small World, which is like 5 minutes. So I do agree. Um, my number three is staying in the same park. Um, my number three is something on our last episode I alluded to not being a huge fan of. Uh, Overrated is the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. There are queues for the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in the triple figures, 100 plus minutes. You want to talk about an hour and a half for the full thing for Peter Pan's flight. Try talking 100 minutes just for the flipping queue. And I remember even now, but especially when it came out, they have to deploy the cast member with the sign that says line starts here, about 4,000 yards away from the actual entrance to the attraction. I think it's a slow version of Big Thunder. I think it's a less interesting version of Big Thunder. The fact that it happens to be Seven Dwarves has almost no connection to the original story. There's just some kind of animatronics that have got the pixelated faces that I don't really like. So I think it's just kind of disappointing. It's a baby version of Big Thunder. There's no real thrill aspect to it, and the queue takes forever.
Oof. Well, I disagree.
With which bit?
So I agree that the queue takes forever, and granted, probably the only times that I've ever done it is when I've fast tracked the queue. So I've not had to wait for it. So I get it in that sense. The wait probably isn't equitable to the thrill or the actual experience. I get that. But I do love it. I think rather than saying it's a slower, more rubbish version of Thunder Mountain, I think that it's more of a smoother version and a more child friendly version. When having children, that's a really big selling point because I can't take them on Big Thunder, but I could take them on Seven Dwarfs. So I
Okay.
think we're coming at it from two completely different kind of like customer points, if you will.
Yep. That's fair. That's fair. I still think it's overrated. I still think I just do. But we'll move on to your number two now, Lauren. Your number two, because I happen to know you're
So
staying in the same park, is what?
I feel like I'm going to get shot for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. The Jungle Cruise.
For our audio listeners, there, my jaw just continued to expand, and I'll just need a moment to scrape it from the floor. You've put Jungle Cruise as your second most overrated attraction in the whole of Walt Disney World.
Yes.
Why?
I just feel like the cast members now are possibly, and I mean, I've not heard this from any cast members, don't quote me, but I feel like they're given less freedom over their jokes. You can tell that there is a cap on the level that is allowed now. And I just feel like that takes some of the fun and some of the ad hocness out of it, and some of the what I used to love about it, the ad lib stuff, not the script that they generally go by, because you'll go on different boats and you'll get similar jokes, but I felt like before they were given a little bit more freedom, they were able to, like maybe pick on someone or say some jokes that are slightly on the line, but it's all right because it was funny, it was tongue in cheek. I feel like it's just gone a little bit too PC.
You know what? I actually, it's not on my list. It's not on my list. But I agree the jokes aren't what they used to be. I agree the script has become more scripted. I agree the interaction with the customer has become less because people have been upset and complained.
Exactly.
Because people have got fragile egos, and so it sort of ruins it for the rest of us. Jungle Cruise is not on my list. But of course, last week's episode, we talked about our dream day in Walt Disney World, and we focused solely on the Magic Kingdom. And in doing so, we never actually mentioned the Jungle Cruise. I didn't even really consider it to be in the top 9 anyway.
No, I think it was a conscious decision on my part to not really.
Okay, that I can buy that. So your number 2 is Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
I'm changing park entirely.
Okay.
I'm going to Hollywood Studios.
Oh.
Specifically, the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. So that is where you fly the Millennium Falcon. You're in a crew of 6. You got 2 pilots. I had to explain to the staff member why cows get bigger and cows get smaller. That was quite funny. She didn't get that at first, and then I said it a little bit slower. Cows get bigger. Cows get smaller. But if you're stuck in the engineer position at the back, all you do is you just tap a little button. You have 0 input to the entire operation. You've queued for 45 minutes, an hour and a bit to sit there and just do this. That has got no input whatsoever. Whilst you've got Timmy, aged 5, sat at the front, doesn't know his left from right, doesn't know his up from down because he thinks the stick's the other way around for whatever reason. And so you're getting bounced around. It's just not very enjoyable.
I can get that. Yeah, I mean, it's not on my list, but I do agree it is overrated. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's probably in my top 3, but yeah, I would definitely agree that it is overrated. Yeah.
Now, I do know that because there's a Mandalorian film going to be coming out, there's going to be a new overlay for Smuggler's Run, so perhaps that will give it something a little bit different. Perhaps the engineering position might do something, which would be nice. But for now, my number 2 is Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Which gets on to our number 1s then, Lauren. Your number 1, your most overrated attraction in Walt Disney World is...
I think we alluded to it on our last episode. It was a conscious decision to not include it in our perfect day, and that is Tron.
You know something? Tron was on my list, and then I crossed it off.
Ah, interesting.
So why Tron?
So there was this massive hype around it. It took forever to build. Everyone was like, "Oh, we can't wait for Tron. We can't wait for Tron." We watched all the vloggers like, this is a construction update, seeing it from the People Mover, seeing it from the Barnstormer, like all the different angles that you can get. Everyone was super excited for it. I mean, the feedback online that I saw was absolutely amazing. It's a fantastic ride. You feel like you're on a motorbike and you swish around everywhere. On the outside, coming round, it just looks amazing when you're going to queue up. And then when you actually experience the ride, you're like, oh, is that it?
Yeah.
So I was a bit kind of underwhelmed, really.
Agreed. I think underwhelmed is a great way of putting it. they've removed nowadays. They've removed the lightning lanes that they used to do in the morning, the boarding groups. There's a video that went sort of viral, which was somebody was able to watch the Tron film in the queue for Tron quicker than it took to get on the ride. That's quite funny, and sort of a damning sort of effect on the virtual queue system, or lack thereof, when you remove it. Tron is over too quickly. It looks nice and pretty lit up at night, but the reality is you've got that one outdoor bit which lasts 15 seconds, and that's kind of it. So I agree with Tron as a number one. It's not on my list, but it was, and then I crossed it off because my number one, and I have to stress, we're talking about overrated here. Overrated Disney attraction is Frozen.
Oh.
So Frozen replaced Maelstrom in the Norway Pavilion at Epcot. Maelstrom was a historical go through Norway, the isles around it, discussion of how industry has affected Norse mythology and all this sort of stuff. And it's a real education piece, as Epcot was supposed to be. It was an entertainment education construct. Now they slap Frozen IP on it. They have, as I said with the Seven Dwarfs thing, they've got the weird faces with the projection on it, and it looks awful. It's just singing "Let It Go" constantly. There is no storyline. There's no consistency to it. It has, in my view, taken away what was a very good attraction. It's overrated because the queue lengths for it are always over an hour, because as people like, as children especially, some of them grew up on Frozen, some of them have been born since the films come out and really enjoy it, so that it's all they've known. It means that the line is artificially long because it's not actually that much of a good ride. So I would certainly have my number one as Frozen.
Yeah, so it's interesting you say that, because when I was considering what my top three were going to be, if it was a top five, then Frozen would definitely have made it.
That's fair. So to give a little bit of a recap of our answers, Lauren, in reverse order, your number three is Peter Pan's Flight, number two is Jungle Cruise, number one is Tron. I sort of broadly agree. I think it's a little harsh to have Jungle Cruise in there, if I'm honest, but I broadly agree. Mine is number three, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Number two, Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run. Number one is Frozen Ever After. I don't think there's anything too controversial in there. If anyone disagrees, of course, feel free to drop a comment. Feel free to email us at monorailmemoirs@gmail.com. Lauren's got the little ticker. For any Instagram and TikTok users, we are at Monorail Memoirs. A shorter episode this week. We are hoping to come back with some good news about possible Run Disney stuff. We'll let you know next time, fingers crossed. But until then, I thank you all for your attendance. Stay safe. And as always, please stand clear of the doors. Bye, everybody.